The Great Minnesota Get-Together kicks off August 24th, but for the third consecutive year, there will not be a State Fair Express bus running in Brooklyn Park to help people get to the fair. Delane Cleveland spoke to Metro Transit officials today to find out why and to maybe lay out some options for people who don't want to drive.
Hi Rusty, I'm at the Metro Transit Park and Ride lot along 63rd and Bottineau Boulevard in Brooklyn Park. For years, people would pack the parking garage here, hop on a bus, and go to the State Fair. But Metro Transit officials say if you live in the Northwest Metro, you're going to need to find another way to get to the Great Minnesota Get-Together.
It can be a parking mess over at the fairgrounds. It's hard to know exactly where to go.
Brian Funk is the Chief Operating Officer of Metro Transit. And for anyone who's ever tried driving to the fairgrounds themselves, they can attest to the difficulties of finding parking. It's why Metro Transit launched the State Fair Express bus service 30 years ago.
Year after year, we were adding sites, adding ridership, and we were well over 500,000 rides just during the 12 days of the State Fair on those express services.
Then COVID hit, and with it came a loss of riders and a loss of bus drivers. As a result, Metro Transit could no longer offer rides to the fair at many of their usual sites.
Last year we were at 3 sites, a lot less demand because people weren't sure about whether they were ready to go back to the fair itself or not.
But now, Funk says staffing levels are beginning to creep back up, which will allow them to have 4 State Fair Express service sites in Bloomington, Cottage Grove, Minnetonka, and a new one in Blaine.
We made the determination to use our park and ride on 95th Avenue and 35W in Blaine. And so depending on where you're at in the Northwest Metro, it could work to shoot over that way.
Bottom line, people have a few options. Next year, Metro Transit's goal is to get closer to pre-pandemic levels of service.
Our goal is not to slow down.
Meanwhile, Metro Transit officials are hopeful that by this time next year, either this facility or another one in the northwest suburbs will be able to provide rides to the State Fair. In Brooklyn Park, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
Brooklyn Center is considering joining a program to provide mental health services during police calls. Through the program, paramedics and social workers would respond to mental health and other nonviolent calls to the police department. Hennepin County and the City of Brooklyn Park Police started the pilot program in March. The social workers would be Hennepin County employees, but Brooklyn Center would pay them. Social workers would have offices at the police department, but would report directly to the city's Public Health and Safety Department.
So in the context of being short-staffed and having a lot to do, we don't want to add to the supervision of police officers. We don't want to add to the load. So we're not trying to add on more work when we already have very challenged staff as far as workload.
The program would cost the city around $72,000 in its first year. Meanwhile, the Police Mental Health Response Partnership between Brooklyn Park and Hennepin County has been responding to calls for around 5 months. The partnership was the first of its kind in the state. The team's social workers and paramedics can be dispatched to calls with or without police officers. They respond to nonviolent calls for issues like substance abuse, self-harm, and to perform welfare checks. Add another city to the list of those asking residents to cut back on water use if possible. Tuesday afternoon, the City of Brooklyn Park put out an advisory to ask residents to cut non-essential water use by as much as 50%. That includes things like watering the lawn and washing the car. The city asks that you avoid watering the lawn during the hottest part of the afternoon and evening, 4 to 10 p.m. Minnesota DNR now lists our part of the state under a drought warning. Sections of a regional trail across 2 cities are under construction this month. Three Rivers Park District crews are resurfacing the Crystal Lake Regional Trail this week and next. The work will require part of the trail north of Highway 100 in Crystal to be closed part of this week. A portion in Robbinsdale, south of County Road 9, will be closed next week. Now, the entire trail will be open this weekend. The work continues until August 25th. Three Rivers Parks District officials say the trail will reopen once all the materials are dry. A local veterinarian's office is raising money to help people pay for emergency vet bills. Emily Haugen explains how you can help.
Time to wake up.
From tails to teeth, veterinarians are busy.
Vito's under anesthesia, and we are doing a soft palate repair.
Dr. Angela Woodward sees pets back to back every day.
Since COVID, we've had an influx of new clients and urgent cases, and I think my drive as a veterinarian to sort of foster that human-animal bond.
And at the heart of her operation is emergency care.
Some owners truly can't afford emergent care, unexpected events that happen, and it's hard to see them have to rehome their pet or something.
Vets' offices are different from doctors' offices. Most people have to pay out of pocket, even when it's dire. That's why Woodward founded Vet Partners Cares.
Everybody deserves to have a pet that they can care for, right? And that human-animal bond.
And in many cases, her patients benefit.
So it's nice to be able to be that resource and help those who are less fortunate or are having other financial issues, not have to lose sleep over, whether to feed yourself or to, fix your dog's broken leg, right?
The money comes from the community.
It's called Putts for Paws, and that's our major fundraiser. And so once a year in September, Rush Creek helps us host the event.
And it all goes back to those who need it most.
I think the response is overwhelming gratitude and just a sense of relief, right? They don't have to worry about their pet being in pain or not treated, and they don't have to worry about not being able to take their pet home.
In Plymouth, Emily Haugen, CCX News.
Vet Partners Cares is holding its annual fundraiser, Putts for Paws, on September 7th at Rush Creek in Maple Grove. It's 8 o'clock in the morning for the start. They're still looking for sponsors and for golfers. You can sign up online and find a link at ccxmedia.org.